We're at number 9 on the map. This is I'll read this first. The Martin Angel Cemetery. Philip Martin Angel, born in Italy, immigrated to this country and settled in St. Helena's Parish. He married Mary Foster in 1743, but he died by 1762 when his widow bought 500 acres on Dafauskie Island. Their son Philip, a captain in the British Royal Militia, remember that, in December 1781, during the closing days of the American Revolution, was killed by the Bloody Legion, a partisan band from Hilton Head. He's probably buried here with others. He was the guy, we think, that is buried in that above-ground sarcophagus right there. Now, when I lived out here in the 70s, there was a big hole that big around where the Union forces had robbed all the graves at the Civil War. You could look in the hole with a flashlight and you saw 2 coffins with the faceplates pulled out of them. You could see the skulls. And you come out here on Halloween and do that with a few drinks, you're flat seeing something. The reason this cemetery is here is because the Martin Angel Plantation house was right there. And one of the things that people in South Carolina don't like to talk about very much, and believe me, I'm a South Carolinian born and bred, is we like to forget about things like in South Carolina, what was going on was not a Revolutionary War. It was a Civil War. It was a Civil War here because most of the people were Tories. This guy, if you read closely, we don't want to say Tory, but he was in the Royal British Militia. He was a Tory. He was fighting on the English side. And you can understand why most of these people got their land from the King of England, and some of them were even probably kin to him. So there was a whole lot of that going on here. These cemeteries, every cemetery on Dafauskie except one, it's got one grave in it, that one I'm talking about. It's got the most hard-headed man in the world buried in it. But all of them are on the water. And they're all on the water, I think, for totally different reasons. But there are at least 4 black cemeteries that are on the water. Then this cemetery, which is predominantly a white cemetery, although some black folks were buried there over the years. They say, though, white cemeteries were on the water because of the breeze, probably. You can think of this was probably a cotton field. And if you were here in 1860, you'd be able to see Freeport Marina where you came from, or the trees around it, because every bit of this would have been cultivated. Well, they were, they would bury their dead here because you would have a breeze. There's a river right back there, and so on. Now, the black population would do the same thing. They would bury their dead on the river because of an old African legend or something that came all the way back from Africa. And that was, they believed that if you bury your dead, the first thing you better do is bury him headed toward Africa. So they always bury the body looking toward Africa. And in their belief, the soul would enter the water, could enter the water and go back to Africa. And again, it's kind of like, you know, all my life I've heard that walking under a ladder will bring you bad luck or something. I don't believe it, but I don't walk under the ladder to find out. So it's kind of the same thing. So, all right, y'all ready?